do you mind if I yap for a quick second? Okay, so this episode absolutely wasn't planned. It's also going to go on YouTube, also not planned, but that's kind of the whole point of what I wanted to talk about was this idea of yes, on January 1st, we get this urge to like do stuff and often we will second guess ourselves and be like, I'm only doing it because it's January and yada yada yada. But something that came to me this morning literally was this idea of but what if you ran with that energy but also with the idea that it's okay if it kind of falls away at some points but right now why don't you lean into it and see where it takes you. So in the spirit of that and in the spirit of my course starting in January, Rosebud, my 100-day or your 100-day joy project, I wanted to talk about the things that I have kind of got on my mind that I want to do in 2026. Um, but also this idea that they might not happen and that that's okay too. And I'm just going to kind of live off the excitement and the curiosity of where they might take me. But again, with this idea that it's okay if some of these don't come to fruition. It's okay if I get to the end of this year and some of them don't happen because some of them will not happen and it will be through choice, right? It will be through this idea that at some point I decided that they weren't a priority or that I chose not to put that effort in there or that it felt like something that I didn't really want to do or whatever it is. And even as I'm talking to you, I am trying to avoid any kind of language where I say it got too difficult or I couldn't do it. I don't want to give anything else in this universe responsibility, accountability, or ownership that something that I have an idea around doesn't happen. Right? I want to fully step into if something does not come to fruition this year, if something does not happen, it will be because of my choices, because I want to take ownership, responsibility, and accountability for where my life goes. And yeah, okay, you might be like, yeah, but Meg, some things happen in life where they are out of our control. And that's absolutely true. But 9 times out of 10, the amount of clients I've worked with now, which is in the thousands, is because things don't happen for them because of a belief that they were holding on to. That usually starts with, I can't, or it's just not on the cards for me, or it's been a bad month, or it's been a bad year, or I don't have the money, or I don't have yada, 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 right? All of this stuff. So I'm going to talk you through the things that I have on my mind that I'm thinking of for 2026. And if you've been around for a while in the Joy Project, you might find this super curious and maybe exciting. Please do drop me a DM or reply on email or in the comments if any of these you're like, Meg, do it. But also if you're new to the Joy Project, I want you to know that everything that I'm about to tell you is things that I genuinely am thinking of doing in the business and both personally, and that I do genuinely believe that it is okay if some of these do not happen, right? I'm telling you now, it is absolutely okay because I believe in myself and I trust in myself that if certain things don't happen, it will be for the right reasons, but I will not let that reason be because I got scared, because I got lazy, because it was too hard or anything like that. I genuinely want to be able to get to the end of this year and look back and go, it didn't happen and that was okay. All right, which might blow your mind of oh no, Meg, like because I'm not good enough, or or because I ran out of time, or like it is so comfortable for us to rely on those excuses, right? So I'm saying no more. So we're gonna jump in. What kind of things are floating around my mind? Okay, so first one, and it's a bit of a lull, is more podcast episodes, which is hilarious because I literally was like, right, put your money where your mouth is, Meg, get on it. So when I first started the Joy Project 3 or 4 years ago now, I jumped straight in with podcast stuff, and I was like interviewing people and editing and uploading, and then it just kind of like fizzled out a bit. Now, if I take ownership, accountability, and responsibility for this, I know it fizzles out a bit because it was quite a big thing to do, interviewing people, scheduling stuff, all those kind of things. And it fizzled out because I chose that my time, the time that it needed, I didn't want to prioritize that much time for it. Okay. I can be like, oh, I ran out of time, or oh, I didn't have enough guests, or oh, it was just too much for me. Right. No, 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 no. It's fine. I chose that I stopped doing it because I didn't want to prioritize it anymore. I think this year I do want to prioritize it more. Seriously, when I started back, I did one episode a couple of months ago on my ADHD journey and got a new client from it. So that very much straight away made me go, Meg, you need to yap more in long form. And then also I saw that, I already have quite a lot of, I think there was like 77 last time I checked, 77 subscribers to the podcast, right? That is nothing to be sniffed at. So I then realized, actually, if I had have stuck to it, where could I be now? And it's not about the followers and stuff like that. But it definitely made me see, okay, at the time, why was I not prioritizing it? I wasn't prioritizing it because I thought it took up too much time. Is there potential that my impatience that I do have it had got in the way a little bit there? I've been a bit of a blocker. So just something to think about. But I'm putting it up there. Ding. I'd like to do more podcast episodes this year. Leading on from very very nicely from that, I do think I would like to start using YouTube more. I really truly believe that long form content is going to be really big this year. People are on Substack more. They're watching 10-minute TikTok videos. We're reading more than ever. We want more depth, right? We want more. We just want more from people. We don't want this surface level crap, right? So I did try and do Substack last year. Again, I chose not to continue it because I love writing long form, but I did put a pressure on myself to get it perfect and all that kind of thing that can come with writing. And actually, as you can see here, I'm a yapper. I like a little bit of talking. And it just comes out of me much more when I'm verbally saying it, when I'm verbally processing it. So actually, rather than writing it down, is there an opportunity for me to just do what I'm doing now, right? I'm literally, the thing that people will hear on the podcast is exactly what they will be seeing on the YouTube. So, two birds, one stone. So this year, I'd like to think that I stick to it, that I prioritize it a couple of times a month. I would like to make sure that podcast stuff is saved and then appears on the YouTube, which maybe is where you're watching this now. How exciting. Thirdly, something that I have been playing around with for a good few years now is Joy Project. Merchandise, swag, stash, whatever you want to call it. Keep it small, couple of items. A reason that I haven't chosen to prioritize this is because I want to get it right. Things around sustainability and not just, adding to landfill is really, really important to me. I don't want to jump on bloody Alibaba or whatever it's called and just get like t-shirts printed for £1 that I then like flog for 20 and that, you put them in the wash once and they're ruined. And I'm not about that at all. That actually makes me feel quite icky, to be honest. So I could have done that and I chose not to do that, and because of my values, because of my own values and because of my principles. So I would love to say that in 2026 I start looking at merch that's in a sustainable way. I also want to partner or collaborate with a company that are already doing it properly, and kind of do like a partnership with them. And I want to get really specific, like what's the slogan that goes on a t-shirt? What's important to the Joy Project? What do I want people to share? What do I think if I saw it in the shop, I'd be like, love that tote bag. Like that's a bit of me. So that's kind of where my mind's going. I'm not putting a timeline on myself. I am going to look at it with my virtual assistants as well and kind of really work out how I do this properly if it happens this year. But that's just something that's kind of swirling around in my mind. Another thing that has been kind of prickling on my mind for a while is I've been doing the Joy Letter since the beginning of the business now, right? It's never changed. My newsletter, it's come out I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 every single week for the last 3 or 4 years. It's slightly changed a little bit more now, but there's like 3,000 subscribers. to the joy letter. So I'm not going to stop the joy letter, but in this idea of potentially bringing things into to life, so getting things like not everything just being digital around the joy project, could the joy letter become something that you physically receive? Right. I don't know about you, but the only thing that I seem to get through my letterbox is bills and flyers for like garden fencing, and I don't own a garden, guys, right? What's that about? So I was wondering whether the joy letter, maybe on a monthly basis, is something that you actually get through the post, right? And it's a letter from me, but also maybe it has like a really cute like postcard in it. Maybe we do some stickers, right? Maybe we do some I'm this is what I mean. I need to really properly give this prioritize some time for this, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about. That, or do I bring the Joy Edit, which is the quarterly Joy Project magazine? Do I make that into something that you can actually buy and receive through the post, right? Again, don't want to add to landfill. It has to be like recyclables and all those kind of things. But there is something for me in 2026 about real stuff again, real community in person, but also real things that make you feel even more part of the Joy Project community. Okay, what else have I got on my little list here? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So talking of in-person events, so the Joy retreats, of which I have done 11, I think now, have all been in the Lake District. And I've obviously done them on my own. I also did them in partnership with Mel from Make More Magic this year, and I really took a pause with thinking about the retreats and thinking, like, do I do I need to leave the Lake District and take them further afar? I know I've had like women, like I know some of you for years have been saying, like, Meg, like, please, I can't, can't afford to come to the Lake District for the weekend, or I don't want to come to the Lake District for the weekend, or whatever it is. So I am very much thinking about whether I need to move and do them elsewhere in the country. So that is something that we are playing around with. When I say we, me and my assistants. Again, no timeline for this, right? If I do it, I do it. I remember one year I literally did like 6 retreats in a year. And I know that's something that I prioritized because I wanted to. I caught myself there a little bit. But actually I choose not to do that many retreats this year. I want to do less retreats that have more impact, I think is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, like I said, I really truly believe 2026 is a big year for community and connection in person. So the other thing that I am looking at is how I can really do more of Joy Live. So I did the first one in Manchester in November, which was incredible, really, really was incredible. And I'm like, right, how do I do more of that? Can I do one in London, Birmingham, Bristol, Edinburgh? Like, how do I spread that out a little bit? So, yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to take it to all. No, I'm going to change that. I'm not saying that I will prioritize taking it to all the cities across the UK this year. But I'm playing with it. I'm letting it kind of percolate in my mind a little bit. I may change my mind, and that's okay too. What else have I got on my list? I nearly kept myself from saying this one, but in the spirit of throwing the ideas out there and it's okay if they don't happen. Another thing that has been going around my mind for I'm going to say about a year now is the idea of a Joy Project app. And I couldn't quite land on the purpose of it. And I'm all about something that I'm really trying to work on is really refining what I offer as being something that you actually need, not just a nice to have, something that's really going to land and make a difference. So I haven't really done a lot of work around the app because like, I couldn't land on what it was supposed to be. And I'm not going to give too much away, but I'd say over the last couple of months, I've been using another app for something else to do with me personally, and I have got so much out of it. And there's a certain way that the app has worked that's made me think I could do that with a Joy Project app, and I know it would benefit other people who are similar to me. So that's all I'm going to say. Building an app is a big thing. I do not underestimate the amount of time, money, and resources that go into it. But if I could get to the end of 2026 and I have at least researched it, if not played around with something, I'll be quite happy with that. I am happy to experiment with the idea of an app. I'm even happy to invest money into the idea of an app, even if I get to the end of it and choose I don't want to do that, right? Okay, so that's something that I really want you to take away. It is okay to experiment with things. It's okay to try things, and then at the end of it, go, not for me. It does not mean you have failed, right? It does not mean you have made a bad decision or you've made mistakes. It just means you tried, you lived, you experienced something, you got more data, and then you went, nah, not for me, right? So just something to be mulling your little brain over there, basically. Okay, so we're nearly there. I'm actually going to take you into some personal stuff outside the Joy Project, because the Joy Project isn't my life, it's part of my life. Um, Something that I have been thinking about, and again, it is in person stuff, but I'm going to speak to a friend about this actually. I haven't even spoken to her about this, but I have an idea around in Keswick, where I live in the Lake District. It's very touristy, right? But there is a community of locals. There are people who live here permanently, such as myself. And even as a millennial, and as a single millennial, it's quite hard to make friends as adults. It's quite hard in general, and I've done another podcast on this before about making friends as adults, but it's quite hard when you also live in a town that's very transient, right? And I don't live in a city or even like a normal town, let's say, where there is ample opportunity to connect with others, right? So I'm thinking of maybe going to some local bars and restaurants and seeing if they want to be part of what I'm kind of calling a supper club, right? So you pay, for a ticket and you eat nice food, or maybe you do wine tasting, or like whatever it is. It's kind of coming together in my mind. But this idea of maybe I just do like 3 or 4 events, partner with some local businesses, and it's just an opportunity to connect with people. A lot of people do actually move to the Lake District. And I've noticed through Instagram, on my personal Instagram, over the last like 6 months maybe, that more and more millennials are making the move or coming to the Lake District, right? I was one of them. Why did I think I was the only person who might have done that? So whether it's friendship or romantic or whatever it is, like, if I'm not seeing the opportunity to connect with others and to socialize, meet more people, like, what's stopping me from creating that opportunity, right? Again, I know I am somebody who does a lot of different things, but I'm really leaning into the fact that that is a strength of mine, rather than like this, oh, Meg, she's always so busy, right? Like, it's what really fuels me. So why wouldn't I lean into that? As I said, I did go for a dog walk this morning and thought I could do with some help with that. And a friend of mine used to work in events and I think would be really up for it. So I'm going to talk to her. And again, not rushing into anything. And maybe I'll get to the end of the year and only have done it once. And that's fine. But I'm excited by the idea. So I'm going to run with it and see where it goes. And if I literally do 1 year, if I literally do one event, get the novelty out of it and then go, that was enough for me, then that is fine too. But I'm going to leave you with the final thing that I am thinking of doing. And I have already put the feelers out. It's already terrifying me. But I feel like if I just get this up and running, then I've kind of told people about it, then it has to happen. I have for a really long time actually wanted to do something for charity. First of all, I do not plan on ever being a proper runner, marathon runner, blah blah blah. But as you may or may not know, I am a dancer and I am a dance instructor. It's a very, very small thing that I do a couple of times a week. And I wonder, I'm 35 in June. I wonder if I could do something raising money for charity, but with dance thrown in. So what I've come up with is this idea of doing a 12-hour dance challenge where I personally, oh God, it makes me sick saying this out loud, will dance for 12 hours straight. And I'm sure there's some safety insurance things I need to look into. But I would probably do a couple of classes in that. I'm thinking maybe I do like a mum and toddlers little dance hour. I do like a freestyle dance hour where people can just come and we just dance like it's at a party or in the club. But also, like, could I invite in dance instructors that teach dance in different mediums that I can learn? So it's an hour where I don't know, I'm learning to tap or I'm learning to salsa or whatever it is. Anyways, that is something that I am playing with in my mind. And again, with this idea of, in the spirit of experimenting, it probably wouldn't be that hard to pull it together. I'm good at running events, but it is something that is going to physically and mentally test me. I know it is. And as somebody with a pre existing, spinal injury, that panics me, right? So I know that for me is holding it loosely, holding it lightly, and kind of going, okay, but how amazing would that be if you just tried, right? Um, and again, thinking of future me, if I got to the end of 2026 and knew that I'd raised a little bit of money for a charity, haven't decided on the charity yet, and I did something worthwhile, and it also meant that I had to really practice, and train my body to withstand something like 12 hours of dancing. Like, oh my gosh, how proud would I be of me? And it wasn't attached to the outdoors or making money or coaching. It was based on something that is really my first love. Dance is absolutely my first love. So that is the things that are going around in my head, right? From business stuff to making merch, to sending stuff into people's post boxes, to looking at how I can meet more people in 2026, to physical stuff, right? It probably, I'm sure, because it does to me, feels like I've got so many ideas. Where do you even start? And yada yada yada. I'm gonna start with where I know is best to start. Step one, first thing. What's the first thing I need to do with each of those things, right? Breaking it down, making it laughable, having that conversation, reaching out to that person, recording this podcast, right? Just setting it up and going, record, doesn't matter. Gonna do a little bit of fiddling, editing afterwards, post it, done. Have to get it out today, right? Done. Don't care whether I ever do this again, whether I ever put another thing on YouTube again, right? Just getting it out, done it. Who do I talk to? I need to talk to that friend. Just gonna have a conversation. Do you want to go for coffee? I've got an idea about something. I just want to, whatever. Next time I go into the gym, speak to the gym owner. I'm thinking about doing this thing in June. What do you think? Right? A conversation here, a little task there. That's how we do stuff. That's how we do our joy projects, if I'm being completely honest. So, yeah, thought I'd share that with you. Maybe it'll inspire you. Maybe you'll just think I'm absolutely crazy. But if you're curious how to get into the mentality that I have, please hit me up. Please ask the question, and I promise I will guide you um to the right, not the right thing. I promise I will share with you what I know. And if there is something that I think will help you even further that I already offer, I'll say, why don't you try this? Why don't you give this a go? Um, but yeah, that's what's kind of I'm thinking for 2026. It's okay to have ideas and not see all of them through. It's okay to just be excited by them and then actually give them a go and go, nope, that's not what I wanted. That's okay too. It's okay to just live.